Okay, we are live with Chris on site in front of the embassy. How's it going out
That's
there?
right. That's right. This is Chris Ellis reporting for WCN. I feel really official because look at all these reporters behind me. They're like proper professionals, and here I am with my you know, my Olo clip lens and my little badge that Janine made last night on the World Citizen ID software and everything like that. So yeah, we're outside the Ecuadorian embassy in Knightsbridge in London. I can just flip the camera around and show you what it looks like. Pretty much nothing. Nothing is happening. Everyone's just waiting here all the journalists are asking each other what they think is going to happen. Is he going to come out or not? It sounds doubtful that he's going to be coming out. It sounds like he's going to be doing an interview on Skype. There is a place just north of here in Hyde Park where he will be giving a press conference, but that place is like all booked out, like you can't get in there now. So everyone is here. I'll just come and try and cross the road now once these cars have gone past to show you the size of the press. I can't imagine Julian coming out with all these people here. My speculation is that he's more likely to come out when, like in the middle of the week or at some point next week when nobody's kind of expecting it.
Well,
Probably just get into a car.
don't they have a back door? Isn't
No,
this?
they don't have a back door.
Oh
This is the
man.
only way
Okay.
out. This
Okay.
is the whole issue, right? Is that this is the only door, okay? So this is the whole issue, and the Met have been paying people basically to stand here. I'll show you the size of the press junket. That's the size of it. Look, and
That's really huge.
yeah, and
Let me
here are
tell you.
the feds are right here. Look at the feds; they're right here, and
Right.
they've basically said they're going to arrest him anyway. They don't care about what the UN says, right? It's just a
Right.
moral obligation from the point of view of the UN, it's just a moral obligation. They're saying it's not a legal obligation. So as far as the police here in the UK are concerned, he's still wanted for violating his house arrest. How long ago was it now? Like 4 years ago? 4 years ago? 4 years.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was 4 years ago. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to get up some
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
stats.
I've got my fact checker here. I've got Janine.
So
She
we
knows
he's
she knows
been
everything.
well, he's been detained without a charge for 51 months.
Right,
And he's been in the Ecuadorian embassy for 33 months. So
right.
that's pretty long to just be. Now, I didn't know this. 10 million pounds spent by the UK on the Assange siege. So that's a lot of money just to. I mean, shouldn't they be more efficient with that? They have all the high-tech surveillance stuff. I
It's
mean, that's
apparently
crazy.
according to my very knowledgeable source, Janine here. So apparently it's 13 million. This is
God.
13 million that's been spent. Basically putting police officers outside, also putting cameras like inside of the embassy surveilling him, um, which is kind of slightly unnecessary. And who
Yeah.
pays for that? It's taxpayers' money. That's who pays for that.
Right. So
So yeah,
yeah, and just for the as far as the massive amount of media there, I was watching the RT stream, and it's really funny because you could hear a bunch of other people on their stream because all they're doing
right,
is just showing it. And
yeah,
there was this guy speaking German, and he said he couldn't even get a connection because of all the interference, because of all the people
yeah,
next to each other. He can't really even. So you're doing pretty good. You've got a pretty good connection. He
yeah.
said he was having a lot of trouble.
Well, thanks to all the people at home that have donated to the World Crypto Network over the years, we have been able to fund. I've got two SIM cards basically on two different networks. So if ever I'm caught without a connection, I just switch SIM cards. So stuff like that, abilities like that, and also if you remember Hong Kong protests where we were streaming the democratic process in Hong Kong with
Yeah.
James. All of that was possible because of the money that was donated by the people at home. I've just met a chap called Philip. He wants to do an interview with me later. He's setting up a channel similar to WCN called 99%. And I'm going to be speaking to him because it sounds like we're on the same page. And I said to him, like, we're all about like helping each other out. Like, we'll help him with the tech. We'll help him like raise money. Because I think like this type of citizen journalism is really a much better model than this kind of journalism over here, where everyone, like, you basically
Yeah.
got four voices, you got four mainstream networks, you've got essentially a bunch of sock puppets that are just there to push a particular narrative. I'm all for attitudinal journalism. I just think there needs to be more attitudes.
Well,
There
yeah,
needs to be a wider
definitely.
range, right? And so, the thing you've got to remember at home, if you're watching this, is you are on the front line, right where
Yeah.
you are now. Like
Well,
that.
you
You don't
it's
have to
it's
wait for me to come and report. You can report yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris, it's definitely true because, since we talked about setting this up, I mean, I've just been kind of watching random streams that are available and trying to get any information, and it's really boring. There's no good commentary. It's just rehashing everything that's confirmed. It's horrible to watch. It's unwatchable what's available right now. And you right there live are getting much better
Yeah, it's
picture
cool, isn't
and
it?
yeah, it's much better than anything I've seen this morning because you're just
Yeah,
right there and you're
yeah,
able to go through all of the bullshit and you don't have like some director talking
right.
into your ear saying, "Hey, okay, just talk 2 minutes at the end of the show
Yeah,
and then that's all, okay? So don't
yeah.
say anything
Well,
crazy."
that's a
You know.
phenomenon called dead air, right? They can't have dead air, and so they have to fill it. They have to fill it all up, and they have to fill it all up with. I just have people recognizing me on the street. It's so cool, so random. Um, I can't go anywhere anymore without people recognizing me. It's getting really difficult and awkward. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, they can't have dead air, okay? And so that means they have to like fill it up, fill it up. And so they've got a producer like shouting in their ear, going like, "Cut to this camera, cut to this camera." And all you get, like if you're one of these people, I used to work in an agency, in a news agency, okay, and we used to have a bank of screens up, above our desk showing like Sky News, BBC, Al Jazeera, Russia Today, all that. And you just used to play the same old shit, like constantly, over and over again. There was nothing original. It was the same old thing. Now, I remember 9/11. I was there. I was in the agency when that actually happened. And we were getting our news sources. I was the one feeding the journalists with the news sources. And where was I getting my news information from? I was getting it from IRC at the time, right? So we found out about the Pennsylvania, the plane that crashed, landed in Pennsylvania, because I was on IRC, and there were some people in Pennsylvania that lived there that were on IRC, and they were reporting locally, and I was able to give that to the journalist, and then he was able to go to AP and get a confirmation and report it. So even back then, even in the year 2000, it was 9/11, 2001 or whatever it was, we were reporting from IRC channels, and that was just those sources were just people on the ground that had eyewitness accounts, eyeballs on the ground that were able to confirm it. And really, back then, I think you needed about 5 different confirmations. You needed like 5 different people to verify the information in order for it to be validated, in order for you to be able to broadcast it. Otherwise, you'd have to say, according to sources, or so and so is reporting, X.
Exactly. So, is there a well? I think I saw some pictures of a so-called welcoming party. Is that like a little protest
Well,
parade, kind of, or is that just this media and people that are interested
there
hanging
are
out?
there are people here that have been here like ever since he's been detained.
Okay.
We met a lady called Eliza. What's her name? Eliza, I think so. And she was like, they were camped out here for the last 4 years, supporting
Hmm.
him and raising money and doing campaigns. So yes, there are people here. They're kind of mingling with all the journalists. It's hard to tell who's a journalist and who's a supporter, or who's CIA and who's MI5.
Well, that's what
Because
I was thinking. I mean, I was having. I
could
mean,
be
it,
anyone.
it could have been paranoia, but I was really having a hard time.
Could be me.
I was having a hard time setting up the Hangout. Even it was just every time I would come into your link, it would say, "Okay, you're logged in as Theo Goodman, not World Crypto Network," and
Oh
it
yeah.
wouldn't let me switch. And I was thinking it must be
I think
a
I think I
conspiracy.
think I
You
think that's
know,
an issue with your cookies, to be honest, mate.
it
Just pick a
could
different browser,
no,
you know.
no, no. It must be. No, you're right. As soon as I figured it out and got some coffee and reset, then it was pretty good.
As
So,
soon as you got the coffee, the conspiracy stopped. Yeah.
right, exactly. Then
Right.
I came to my senses. But yeah. So it's crowded out there. Have heard, the word is nothing's going to happen until noon your time.
Yeah.
So I guess everyone is just waiting. But like you said, there's only that one door. So, I mean, if he's been in the embassy that long, why would he just give himself up if they know he's going to be arrested? You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't, to me, that
I don't
doesn't,
think he's.
you know
Yeah.
what I
I
mean?
don't
That
think
doesn't
he's
make
coming out.
sense. Yeah.
I don't think he's coming out today. I think he's going to give an interview on Skype that's going to be broadcast to a restaurant up the road. Can you give me the name of the restaurant? What's the name of it? Frontline Club, just north of Hyde Park in London. It's not actually far from here. I think he's going to do that, and I think that if he does come out, it will be at a time when nobody's expecting it. It will be at a time when journalists aren't here or waiting for him. I think that's way too predictable for him to do that. This is the enormity of the crowd here. It's getting bigger. Russia Today are here. Sky News are here, I think. Who else did we see? Al Jazeera are here as well. So yeah, lots of people are here. Lots of journalists are here to cover.
Well,
cover the story.
he doesn't have a friend that's tall and has white hair to just walk out and get everyone to freak out. I mean,
Well,
what if a tall guy? What if
is
someone
what
that's tall,
yeah.
about his height, with a hat on, just kind of walks
Yeah.
out? That would be interesting.
This has been discussed before, right? The idea that you could have like a whole bunch of Santa Clauses come out around Christmas, and everyone could be dressed up as Santa Claus, and he could be one of them, and everyone could, like, you know, hundreds of Santa Clauses could like run into Harrods and all get lost in there, and then he could like slink off in the corner. But he didn't want to do that. You know, he wanted to do it legitimately. He wanted to be legally recognized as a free man. He didn't want to start, you know, playing games, and I kind of respect that. So that, you know, good for him. I'm kind of hoping that he'll come out on the balcony. There's lots and lots of like couriers and lorries going past, just trying to make deliveries to all these other buildings.
Is there a precedent for past decisions this UN group has made? I mean, I don't really keep track of the UN, and I don't even really like the UN for a lot of other things. But, you know, have they really? There isn't a record, because it seems like this could be a new thing. Because if they say that, you know, what he's going through is unlawful or against human rights or whatever, then imagine what kind of can of worms that could open up for other people that are being held theoretically for other similar things.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think so. I think slightly this decision is politically motivated, because the language that's being used, to me, makes it sound like, you know, strings have been pulled and people have been put under pressure to make this statement. I can see the logic on both sides, even though I tend to obviously fall down on the side of the UN. It's like Janine before was saying to a journalist, it's a bit like somebody putting themselves in a cage and the police then standing outside the cage saying you're free to leave whenever. The fact is...
You're breaking up a little bit, Chris.
Okay.
So stop moving around. But yeah, it was pretty good. Keep talking. I hear your picture froze.
Okay, the picture froze. Yeah, it will happen. There's lots of antennas here. There's lots of aerials. So no doubt, you know, there's going to be some blockages. But what we can do is we can end this report right now, and then we can maybe reconvene in like an...
Yeah, that sounds good, Chris. So I think that we'll reconvene, you know, in a half hour or hour, depending on what's going on. And I'm going to keep in touch with Chris on the ground there in front of the embassy, and keep in touch. Make sure to subscribe to World Crypto Network. You can keep updated. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification, or on Twitter, World Crypto
Network. Subscribe if you want to.
Right, yeah, and just to keep the update, you can check our Twitter.
Yeah, WorldCryptoNet.
Exactly. So okay, we'll keep in touch, and
Thanks.
yep, talk to you soon.
See you on Twitter. Bye bye.
Yep.